Imagine opening the Bible and encountering a book that seems to be filled with mysteries, prophecies, and symbols that have intrigued scholars and believers for centuries. The Apocalypse, the last book of the Scriptures, is known for its enigmatic visions and messages about the end times. But what few know is that this book hides a surprising secret, something that could completely change the way you understand not only the future, but also your role within this story. Many people view the apocalypse with fear, associating it solely with disasters, wars, and divine punishments. However, if you know where to look, you'll discover that this book holds a much deeper revelation than just the end of the world. There is a hidden message that only those who truly dive into the Scriptures can perceive. And this message could be the key to understanding the upcoming events of humanity. In this video, we will explore this secret that has been hidden for so long. We will analyze the words of the Apocalypse from a new perspective and reveal an aspect that many people ignore. By the end of this video, you'll have a completely new understanding of what this book really means. So, get ready, because what you're about to discover may forever change the way you see biblical prophecy. To understand the true meaning of the Apocalypse, we first need to grasp its historical and spiritual significance. This book is not just an account of the end times, but a code of divine messages transmitted through symbols and prophetic visions. Since its writing, it has been interpreted in various ways, sparking debates among scholars and theologians throughout the centuries. Originally revealed to the Apostle John while he was exiled on the island of Patmos, the Apocalypse is a book of warnings and hope. It describes events that, for many, represent both divine judgment and final redemption. Its intense imagery and celestial visions have been studied and debated, leading to interpretations ranging from literal predictions to symbolic and metaphorical approaches. Throughout history, this book has impacted the formation of doctrines and influenced political and social decisions. Many religious movements have used its prophecies to predict crucial moments and interpret world events. But the big question is, how can we correctly understand the Apocalypse today? In this video, we will examine the most influential interpretations and discover why this book continues to be one of the most studied in the Bible. Get ready to dive into this journey of deep understanding and uncover truths that have been overlooked by so many. Now that we understand the importance and impact of the Apocalypse, it's time to reveal the secret that few know. Among the visions of beasts, seals, and trumpets, there is one aspect of the book that often goes unnoticed. Its central message is not about destruction, but about restoration. The Apocalypse is not just an account of the final judgment, but rather a detailed roadmap of God's plan to redeem humanity and establish a new beginning. If we examine carefully, we'll see that the prophecies of the Apocalypse are connected to other passages in the Bible, such as Daniel, Isaiah, and Ezekiel. Many of the events described are echoes of promises already made throughout the Scriptures. This leads us to a surprising conclusion. The Apocalypse was not written to induce fear, but to bring hope to those who remain faithful. The symbols used, such as the Lamb, the New Jerusalem, and the Tree of Life, point to a greater purpose. They show us that despite the tribulations and apparent defeat, the ultimate outcome is the victory of good over evil. This often overlooked detail completely transforms the way we interpret the prophecies and gives us a new understanding of God's purpose. Throughout the rest of this video, we will delve deeper into this idea and examine the biblical evidence that supports this interpretation. You will see that the Apocalypse not only predicts the future, but also gives us clear instructions on how to live in the present to be part of this great restoration. To understand the Apocalypse correctly, it's essential to identify a few keys that help us decipher its hidden messages. Many get lost in literal interpretations and miss the true meaning of the book. Therefore, we must observe three fundamental elements: biblical symbolism, its relationship with the rest of the scriptures, and the historical context in which the book was written. First, symbolism is one of the most striking characteristics of the Apocalypse. The use of numbers, colors, and figures is frequent and carries deep meanings. The number 7, for example, appears several times and symbolizes divine perfection. The beasts represent political and spiritual powers, while Babylon symbolizes corrupted systems that oppose God. Additionally, we cannot analyze the Apocalypse in isolation. It is directly connected to prophecies from the Old Testament. Many of the events described were prefigured in books like Daniel and Ezekiel. This shows us that the Apocalypse is a continuation of God's revelation throughout history, bringing closure to all previous prophecies. Finally, we must consider the historical context. The book was written during a period of intense persecution against Christians, and its messages encouraged believers to persevere in faith. Many of the symbols were understood by the readers of the time, but they need to be studied today for us to understand their current application. Now that we know these keys, we can move forward with a deeper interpretation of the book and understand how these messages apply to our time. What does the Apocalypse really reveal about the future of humanity? The hidden secret of the Apocalypse is not just theoretical knowledge, but a transformative truth that can deeply impact our spiritual lives. By understanding that the book speaks more of restoration than destruction, our perception of God and His plan for humanity becomes clearer and more hopeful. For Christians today, this revelation brings new meaning to the faith. Instead of fearing the future, we can face it with confidence, knowing that God's ultimate purpose is redemption and renewal. This leads us to reflect. Are we living according to this hope? Are we spiritually preparing for the challenging times ahead? This understanding should motivate us to deepen our relationship with God, seeking to live in alignment with biblical principles. Amid the uncertainties of the world, we can find security in the divine promise that, in the end, good will triumph over evil. Now, more than ever, we need to strengthen our faith and share this message with those who have yet to hear it. Now that we understand the impact of this truth, there is one last question. How can we apply this knowledge to interpret the signs of the times and prepare for what is to come? Throughout this video, we explored a hidden secret in the Apocalypse that transforms the way we understand this prophetic book. We discovered that it is not just a message about destruction, but a promise of restoration and victory for those who remain faithful. The Apocalypse teaches us that, despite difficulties and tribulations, a greater purpose is being revealed. Understanding this can strengthen our faith and spiritually prepare us for the future. And now I want to hear from you. What did you think of this revelation? Had you ever thought of the Apocalypse this way? Leave your comment below, as your opinion is very important to this discussion. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel to keep up with more revelations about the Bible. See you in the next video, you in the next.